On the agenda tonight, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Beatles' last release, Now and Then, as well as dispelling a myth or two about the final song. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, I made a video before the release of Now and Then to explain how AI was being used to extract John Lennon's vocal from the original demo that he recorded. And here in the UK, it was reported as if AI was being used to create his voice, but that isn't what happened. Another thing that I did say before the song was released was that I believed pitch correction would be used, because it's not only just used on everything nowadays, but because of the nature of it being an old demo and the fact that John Lennon was just recording it as an idea, really, or at least a bare bones version of a song or an idea for a song that he had. Having said that, what I will say about this particular release is that it wasn't just pieced together from recordings in the studio that weren't really a song and it was just a bit of an idea for a verse and then that was it, and maybe another melody for a chorus. It wasn't pieced together like that. It was a full song, for all intents and purposes, just without all of the lyrical content, because John was obviously just working on that. But interestingly, what I'm going to discuss in this video as well is what some people have referred to as the pre-chorus, or indeed the chorus, which is another section that isn't on the final release of Now and Then. It's been totally missed out. But I am going to jump straight into the analysis just to dispel the myth that I've seen going around on the internet of people saying that there's no way that they took John's voice from the demo and that it is an AI voice and it's not the same recording, because there's no way they'd be able to get it to this quality in the studio from the original recording. When we listen to the original, which if you're looking at the vocal lines on screen, the original is going to be on the left-hand side, and of course I've got the pitch monitoring software on screen because I'm going to prove that it is the original vocal and it's not an AI voice. But have a listen to this. It's just me isolating the vocal from the original demo.
I know it's true. It's all because of you.
So when you listen to the clarity of that recording, I mean, all it is really just a bit of a muffled sound. So once you've got this as your, vocal in the studio, all you need to do here really is give the mids a bit of a boost, EQ wise, maybe add a bit of top end to it. And once you've got that to brighten up the sound, then it's a case of maybe applying some compression to it to bring it more up front in terms of the levels being more consistent across the board, so that the voice now comes forward. And with that EQ, it is going to make it clearer as well. And obviously now sitting it in a mix, you'll apply a little bit of reverb. And that's exactly what's happened on the release. So if I now play a little bit of the isolated vocal from the official release.
I know it's true. It's all because of you.
So you can hear how, pretty much what I've said has been applied to the vocal. It's just a little bit more upfront. But another thing is that there's a little bit, I think, of like kickback delay. It's really subtle in there, but I think I could just hear that. It's almost like the, tannoy or speaker system sound of somebody projecting their voice. It's got that kind of quality to it as well.
I know it's true.
Yeah, so there's that element that has been added to it because we were working with quite a clean voice in the first place. And of course, that is going to help with the overall sound of the vocal and the isolating process in itself and the artifacts that I explained in that previous video, it will help to hide that, because you're taking that isolated vocal and you're applying another effect to it that is effectively distorting or changing the overall sound. So it means that it's going to now sound like a new voice. And maybe this is the reason that some people are saying that it's not the original voice, is because they have applied effects to it. But that's to be expected when you're making a song in general, but just in the studio. That's what production is. I've moved things around and synchronized the official release with the demo as these lines on screen. So it's lines of pitch, but it is John's voice and the notes that he's hitting in a lot of detail, so that we can see the vocal phrases exactly as they were from the demo and as they were released on the final recording. The other thing is that the final recording, the final release from the Beatles, Now and Then, has been sped up. So it means that the lines on screen will end a little bit earlier for the official release than on the demo. But let's just have a listen.
I know it's true. It's all because of you.
First thing to mention, that I said before it was released that there would be pitch correction on it, and all we need to do is look here that we're between C#4 and B4, and it's been pitch corrected on the final release to D4. But look at the way that they actually left the E4 here, so it was sharp. And this is something that I mentioned on that other video, that I was hoping they didn't over pitch correct it, so that they're literally putting everything on the lines, which they haven't done. And this is why I think it still retains the quality of the original when you're talking about the demo, but just the overall sound of John's voice, rather than sounding like a computer-generated version of his voice, which we know this isn't. But when you start applying pitch correction really heavy-handedly, it starts to sound computerized. It starts to sound like auto-tune. So it would actually sound like an AI voice, because as you can see with this voice on the left-hand side, and with any natural voice, it's not stuck to 440 Hz tuning, but that's exactly what heavy pitch correction and auto-tune does. But let's listen on.
And if I make it through.
And I'm just going to stop it here, because it's a really good example of how pitch correction has been used. But because we're looking at this in such detail, we can see the original vocal on the left and the pitch corrected vocal on the right. But when we really zoom into it, and I'm going to get in really close here, look at these peaks. This is just pitch. This was just John's voice when he was singing it. And this is on the original demo. And we get these two little peaks that are going on here. And as we go forwards to the official release, we can now see that it's been pitch corrected, but importantly, we've still got these two peaks that happen. And this would be impossible to replicate unless you have the original recording. You'll see this the whole way through, that here, this is the original recording from the demo, and all of these lines here, we can see that we go from here down, and then we have the peak that goes up. And if we come all the way over here, again, exactly the same thing here, going down, and the peak that goes up by exactly the same interval. The distance between these peaks are exactly the same. It's just that now they've been dragged over this line, so that it's now pitch corrected, and it sounds a lot more accurate to the C4, which it is. And here, if I was to now go across, you can see that the C4 line, if we follow it across, is above where John's vocal was. So I also want to address the lack of that pre-chorus, or chorus as some people are calling it, on the original demo. This is what it sounds like.
I don't want to lose you. No. Lose you or abuse you. if you have to go away, if you have to go, now and then.
And then we make it into what is the chorus on the final release. So this section here, again, it's difficult because, to me, because it's a lot higher up, which means, as you can tell, John's taking his voice up into his head voice, and because you have this change in pitch, generally what happens with a chorus is you get a change in pitch that's quite dramatic, and sometimes it can be an octave that you change from a verse into a chorus. So there's the argument to say that it could be a chorus, and some people might think of it as a chorus who knew the original demo. John doesn't have all the words to this yet, and he's just working his way through it. He's got an idea for a melody, he knows where he's going with that, but when you're talking about now putting this vocal into a final release, it might have been the case that they thought, well, the vocal wasn't strong enough, or would have to pitch correct it so much or move it around so much it would sound mechanical, and therefore it wasn't worth taking that risk of it just sounding a little bit too over processed, especially with the whole AI thing being part of the conversation. If there was a bit of the song that sounded really mechanical, people would say, oh, well, it doesn't sound like John Lennon anymore, what's going on? But what I would say is the second time we hear it, it seems to be a lot stronger from a vocal perspective, but also from a pitch perspective. That second version, obviously we've got different lyrics in there as well, but that, I think, certainly could have been treated like the other vocal and had a little bit of pitch correction applied to it in places. It's just what they would do with that last phrase, which John didn't have any words for, how they would work that. But I think that, you know, the verse, the chorus as it is, it could still have been great, and then this could have been a middle eight. And if you don't know what a middle eight is, this is the same as a bridge. It's a bit in a song that is totally different to the rest of it, that takes your attention maybe 3/4 of the way through the song, and then you get into the chorus at the end. So it's just a different sight on the journey. So it means that you would have all of the demo effectively and each section of it, apart from, you know, one half of this other section that people were calling a pre-chorus or a chorus. But I think it would have worked as a middle eight. And just to finish with, I don't want this video to go on for too long, but there have been loads of covers that have been made of this song, as you can imagine, by Beatles fans. And one did catch my attention because a guy called TimmySean on YouTube has recorded his own demo using AI. And what he's done is sing the song in his best impression, or with his best impression of, you know, John Lennon, and then used AI to put his voice through to try and get the same kind of sound as John Lennon's voice. And I've heard his demo of just his natural voice, and you know, it's just a great version of the song because he's changed the tempo and he's got a cowbell in the chorus as well. I'm going to play a little bit of it in this video to show you the difference between extracting a voice with AI and now actually using AI to try and imitate somebody else's voice with your own voice. But there has to be a bit of a disclaimer that the original recording by Timmy was very good. He does a great version, or a great impression, of trying to sound like John Lennon and getting that overall Beatles sound. But I mean, this is really a totally different take. Have a listen to this.
It's all because of you. And if I may
start again. Well, we will know for sure that I love you. Now and then I miss you.
And I'm just going to stop there because, I mean, there's no point in me playing the whole song here, because you guys can go and check this out and go over to TimmySean's channel and give him a few more views. But the title of this particular video that I'm looking at, that you can see on screen, which is the video that you want, is called The Beatles dash Now and Then in brackets 1964 version, end bracket, and then another bracket and AI, and then end bracket. So yeah, go and check out TimmySean's channel, and it's TimmySean. And this is the AI version. The reason that I'm featuring it is because, I mean, I think it just sounds great. It's a totally different take on the song, but to show you that this has been created with AI, with somebody else's voice who is singing and doing an impression, but still, I think it's quite good. And he does say in the description that, you know, it was a bit hit and miss to try and get the AI to do it correctly, and that's always the case with AI. But he does have his original version without the AI voice available, I think maybe on Spotify or something like that. But you can head over to his YouTube channel. Timmy has done all of this. This isn't any of the song that he's taken. He's playing it all, he's singing it all, he's harmonizing with himself. So it's all his own work, but it shows you that, yeah, when you give AI lots of great stuff to work with, it can do a good job. What it can't do is take something that sounds nothing like anything and suddenly make it sound like something. But yeah, AI is always learning. This is the thing. As we are talking here, it is going through even more cycles of trial and error, and that's all it does. AI is, it keeps on improving literally with every second or every millisecond it is learning. So this is why, yeah, as humans we get the diminished returns of learning. So we learn really quickly to begin with, and the better we want to get at something, the slower it goes, because we've reached about as far as we can genetically and with everything that we're able to do with our brains and our, you know, physical abilities. But AI, it doesn't live in the real world. It has no limitations, so it can keep on improving all the time at the rate of learning that we start out at. Imagine that you never stop improving. That's what AI does. But anyway, I don't want this video to go on for too long, but I think it's already gone on for a while. I thought it was going to be a quick one, but it never seems to be the case that happens. So thank you for all of the requests for this particular video and asking me what I think of the song. It's also good to point out the fact that it is John's voice. Anyway, keep those suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys think. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!